The Man in the Rockefeller Suit, The Astonishing Rise and Spectacular Fall of a Serial Imposter, is an investigative nonfiction work by journalist Mark Seal, chronicling the life of German immigrant Christian Karl Gerhartsreiter. Throughout his life, Gerhartsreiter assumed a series of false identities, ultimately persuading his wife, friends, and elite social circles on both coasts that he was Clark Rockefeller, a member of the notoriously wealthy Rockefeller family. The book traces Gerhartsreiter from the age of 17, when he first arrived in the United States, through decades of increasingly intricate cons, culminating in his arrest for kidnapping his 7-year-old daughter. The narrative delves into Gerhartsreiter's double life, exploring the sophisticated fabrications that defined him, and details the events leading to his capture after he abducted his daughter Ray from their home in Boston's Beacon Hill neighborhood. What began as a seemingly isolated incident, the kidnapping, ultimately unveiled a lifetime of deception. On a sunny July morning, Gerhartsreiter, known to neighbors and his daughter as Clark Rockefeller, carried Ray in his arms. Following a divorce in which his ex-wife Sandra took the multi-million-dollar Beacon Hill home, he was left with little more than his name and 3 yearly, 8-hour supervised visits with his daughter. On this morning, he executed a plan. He spent $3,000 to hire a limousine, instructing the driver to pick him up along with Ray outside their home. Warning the driver about a potentially clingy follower, he prepared to leave without interference. When the limo arrived, he placed Ray inside, entered the back seat, and directed the driver to depart immediately. The court-appointed social worker clung desperately to the car door in a futile attempt to rescue the child. From there, Gerhartsreiter intended to catch a boat to Long Island with Ray. Rockefeller deliberately told friends conflicting stories, ensuring that when the FBI called, they received dozens of contradictory accounts that sent authorities in multiple directions. The scheme was meticulous and well executed. When Sandra received the call that her daughter had been taken during the scheduled visit, she was bewildered and enraged. Authorities requested identification details, which she did not have. As they searched for Clark Rockefeller in various databases, the situation grew increasingly suspicious. Eventually, a fingerprint was located and sent to a lab, while a publicly released photo generated multiple responses, primarily from people who had known Gerhartsreiter in college and recalled him using names such as Chris Gerhart, Christopher Chichester, and Christopher C. Crow. As the truth emerged, Sandra, a rising businesswoman with an MBA from Harvard, came to realize that the man she had believed to be a Rockefeller was in reality a con artist. Born in Germany, Gerhartsreiter had arrived in the U.S. with fraudulent student visas and had maintained a fabricated life ever since. The subsequent manhunt occupies the remainder of the book, tracing his many identities, his tenuous links to a missing couple in California during the 1980s, and leaving the question of why he deceived others for decades largely unanswered. Mark Seal, an American journalist, began his career at newspapers in Texas before becoming a freelance investigative reporter for publications such as Vanity Fair and the New York Times. He has authored 2 full-length works of investigative journalism, Wildflower, An Extraordinary Life and Untimely Death in Africa, a biography of renowned wildlife photographer Joan Root, and The Man in the Rockefeller Suit, published in 2011. Seal has also collaborated on over 15 additional nonfiction works, primarily focused on crime. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.